Hi friends, today I'm going to talk about Uranus in fifth house. Wherever Uranus is in a chart, we have to notice that that is where the soul is supposed to establish its identity, its individuality in this physical life, in this lifetime. And that's why that is where it is going to, that's where the individual is going to rebel or have his own way of thinking or his own ideas. He will be unconventional, he or she unconventional, unusual. His decisions will be different from others. He will be a rebel in that area of life. So what is fifth house in a chart? The fifth house is about romance. It's about love and romance, and it's about creativity. It's about children. Fifth house has to do with stocks, speculation, game of luck, like betting, gambling, all this, lottery. And it also have to do with arts and entertainment, film industry. It deals with Purva Punya and Shastras, mantras. It's also about new opportunities, creativity, of course, children, and it's also the house of paternal grandfather, because it is ninth from ninth. So it deals with paternal grandfather's issues also. So basically this house is also in many Vedas. It is mentioned that until the fourth house, first, second, third, fourth, these are the houses before our birth in this present life. But for the fifth house, because it is the house of Purva Punya, we are born in this lifetime for to live for this house. So this house we must take as an ascendant also, and check and analyze the chart. Also in Navamsa we must see the Karkahamsa, and then we should take wherever the Karkahamsa is, we should take that also and impose it on the fifth house, that chart from that, from the fifth house we have to impose it and then superimpose it on the natal, and then we have to analyze the chart to see actually how things are going to work out for any individual in present life journey. So anyways, so when Uranus comes in fifth house, the person have to be individual or independent or a rebel, unconventional, unusual in this sector of life, whatever the fifth house represents. So suppose if one has children, first of all the children will come through unusual way in his or her life, like maybe most probably like maybe through adoption or through surrogacy or some medical treatment, like in vitro or IUI, or some kind of this kind of stuff. Or the person may foster children, and also like regarding romance, so his romance will be with his or her romance will be with unusual kind of people, unconventional. Sometimes they could be bizarre, or they could be they could be artists of unusual nature, unusual kind, like Picasso, for example. I don't know where Picasso had his Uranus, but his art pieces, I mean, they are highly valued, his paintings. But when I look at them, I do not see the, the matrix there, that, this is very beautiful face or very beautiful figure. But of course it's very highly valued, so they have to be very nice paintings. But like what we have the idea of a beautiful face or a beautiful body, I don't see them, I don't see that in those paintings. So the thing is, they are different, they are unusual. So this kind of people, the person will get involved, or he himself have this kind of artistic bent of mind. Maybe he will create paintings of which are different from others. Fifth house is also about mystical and spiritual leanings. It's a very spiritual house, because it's a dharma tikon. So people could be very spiritual, or they could be very religious, or they could be religiously spiritual. So that is one thing, because it's also about shastras and Purva Punya and higher education and all that. So that also the spirituality is part of it. So that is there. So this person, even in, if it we look at this person's the way he is spiritual, could be like he doesn't belong to any religion or any social norm. He just he has his own path. He carves his own path when it comes to his spirituality. Maybe he says that humanity is his religion, and he only he or she he only believe in one God, or he pray to all as one. So this kind of concept comes in. Even like art pieces which he will be creating will be different. Even in his romances, he can't be tied down. He's a rebel there. So he or she, so like if somebody try to control his love partner, he will not accept, he or she will not accept it, because they are very independent, when the Uranus comes in 5th house, and very erratic. And the romances will fluctuate, like there will be turbulence there. Like today it is a very, very good relationship, they are very happy, and everything is going great, and suddenly the very next day everything just go kaput, everything finish. So it's a turbulent kind of relationship. And even their finances fluctuate, because this is also house of wealth. And not only that, the money through gambling and entertainment industry and art, all this is connected to this house. So finances can suddenly go up very high, and then suddenly they may feel like they have a crunch there. So this kind of thing happens. And also if suppose, because 5th house, first of all we have to put it in the ascendant and analyze the chart. That is one thing. And another thing, because it's the house of entertainment. So whenever Uranus is in water sign in 5th house, or whenever it is conjunct with moon in 5th house, or it is conjunct with Neptune in 5th house, or even Rahu in 5th house, and or it is the moon or Neptune or Rahu are aspecting Uranus in 5th house, there are very strong chances that the native may have some kind of addictions. Like the addictions could be it even when it has connection with ascendant, or even in 5th house itself also. So addiction issues, even betting and gambling kind of addiction could be there, or some other kind of addictions are there. So even medical drug dependence could be there. So that kind of thing is there. 5th house is also house of heart. So if if the Uranus placement in 5th house is not good, suppose, or it is connected with malefics or aspected by malefics, person could have heart related issues as well. So this is there. So other than that, what I must say, generally this is it. I mean, the person, if suppose get into the research of some subjects or want to study, those also will be like different subjects, unusual, like connected with metaphysical also, or maybe studies. I mean, these occult studies are 8th house matters, but like metaphysical studies also connected with 5th house, and you can see them, and because shastras are there, so astrological studies or occult studies are also part of 5th house. So the thing is, the people can be interested in knowing about the mysteries of this universe, like 64 tetrahedron grid of this universe, like Mr. Nassim Haramein is researching and proving his point, and like Mr. David Wilcock, like someone who is into research of UFOs and ITs, and all the this holofractographic universe. So this kind of stuff is there. So for studies, I opened Mr. Salman Khan's chart. He's a Bollywood superstar, we all know him. And so many of you have asked me to put a whiteboard and explain on the board, so I have got it today, but I don't think it's very clear this time. So maybe next time I'll make sure I write in bigger alphabets. So Mr. Salman Khan is he's Aries ascendant, and he has Uranus, he has Uranus, retrograde Uranus and retrograde Pluto in his very closely conjunct. I think Uranus is at 25 degrees something, and Pluto is at 26 something, you know. So they are very closely conjunct, and both are retrogrades, and in his fifth house, in the sign Leo, in Purva Falguni Nakshatra. Purva Falguni is Venus Nakshatra. So I start discussing from the first house's chart, then we come to fifth, because then we understand the pattern, you know, how his life is moving, you know. 1 minute. Yeah, so you see, he's Aries rising, and he has Bharani Nakshatra. Ascendant Nakshatra is Bharani, you know. So the Lord is Venus, and Venus is playing very important role in his life, you know. Even if we calculate his birth date, I mean the whole with the year, the number comes to 6. The 6 is number of Venus, you know. And then he so his Venus is the ascendant nakshatra lord, which is going in the 10th house, you know, of profession. And in his second house he has Rahu. So this Rahu is what making him say things, you know, because it's of speech, you know. The second house is of mouth, speech. So this is giving him also his addiction issues, and also he say things which probably he doesn't mean, and he doesn't even realize what he's saying, you know. He just shoot whatever comes in his heart, you know. So like this is what making him do. And also this retrograde Jupiter in the third house, because Jupiter is not a good planet for him, as it is not only retrograde, but it is also sitting in the Dagda sign. Gemini and Virgo are Dagda signs for Salman, and Jupiter is sitting in third house retrograde, and it's a Dagda sign, Gemini. And Mercury, the lord of Mercury, third house is also higher octave of 8th. So it is not a very good house if we look at it that way, you know, according to Bhavad Bhavam. So the lord of third house, Mercury, is going in 8th with Ketu, you know, and it's Mercury is very strong for him, you know. So this is what giving him his you know, issues, lot of issues in life. So this is where Jupiter is creating issues for him, you know. And even in future he's going to get trouble because of this alignment, you know. Jupiter and Ketu connection. So he just say things which he doesn't mean, because his chart indicates that he's a very, very kind and very generous human being, very nice human being, but what he says get him in trouble, you know. So you know, this is the thing. Then his in his fifth house he has retrograde Uranus and retrograde Pluto in the sign Leo in Purva Falguni. Now I won't talk much about nakshatra, because I'm learning from Arjun Paiji's videos as well, you know, and he's the master. But just to let you all know that Purva Falguni nakshatra is the nakshatra of Venus, and it is about relationships, it's about love, it's about courtships, it's about dating, contracts. So this nakshatra is also about art, creativity, and it makes person majestic, dynamic, vain also, and you know, and a very amiable kind of person, likable person, you know. So this is the nakshatra in which Purva Falguni, in which Lord Shiva took out his procession to get married to Ma Parvati, and in Uttar Falguni Lord Shiva married Ma Parvati. So it's a very auspicious nakshatra, and it gives wealth. It's a wealth giving nakshatra. So because Pluto in Leo is exalted actually, but because it is retrograde, it is giving the effect of debilitated Pluto. So his romances are not working out because of this situation, you know, this Uranus retrograde and very turbulent love affairs, you know, and they normally come to end abruptly, you know, most probably, because that's what happened, you know, suddenly, things happen suddenly, you know. So this is the thing. And then he has Neptune in his 7th house. So Neptune, first of all, it is looking at ascendant. So again, the addiction, you know, the also medical drug dependence, you know, this Neptune can give also. So, you know, and also in love relationship, he may go through deception. That is also another thing, you know. If he get married, he may have to go through some kind of even in business partnerships, and his public image is deceptive, you know. People like him a lot and they love him a lot, and then suddenly they go against him, you know. So Neptune is doing all this. Then in his 8th house he has retrograde Ketu. Ketu have to be retrograde, but it is with Mercury. So Mercury and Ketu here are creating lot of problem for him, you know. But he's very lucky, he has a very powerful occultist. who is helping him, the astrologer. He's a grandfather, you know, the guy. But that guy is a very powerful astrologer, so he's very well supported. And his sun is in Sagittarius, directly opposite Jupiter. So whenever, you know, because Sagittarius and Gemini, they are 7-7 aspect, you know, whenever he says something for which he is answerable, the father is answering, you know, for him. So this is the alignment which is doing that for him. He has got very good support from his father, but you know, like for father it has to be difficult. And then he has Mars and Venus in 10th. His Mars is exalted in Capricorn and in Uttarashada Nakshatra. And this is what Uttarashada Nakshatra is, the nakshatra which is about late victory, which is about being invincible, which is the symbol, the animal symbol for this one, this nakshatra Uttarashada is a single mongoose alone. You know, that's why the love relationships doesn't work out for this Uttarashada people. You know, the marriages all normally are not possible for Uttarashada when it is prominent. Maybe it takes place later on. Even if when they get married, they have to deal with issues in marriage life. So this is Uttarashada Nakshatra does that most of the time. Even I read somewhere that, or somebody told me that Bhishma Pitama, you know, he was related to both Kauravas and Pandavas. I think their uncle or cousin. He was a celibate and a bachelor, and he had this Uttarashada Nakshatra prominent. So, but Mars is exalted, you know, in Capricorn, and Mars is Lord of Ascendant, and it is exalted in 10th house. That is what is giving him his success. And Ascendant Nakshatra is Bharini, and the Lord Venus of this Nakshatra is also with Mars in Capricorn in good dignity. I mean, in friendly sign. And then Saturn is going to the Lord of Capricorn, 10th house. Saturn is going into 11th house of gains and social reform and large organization. So that's what he has done. He has created a large organization, being human, and he is seriously into social reform. And Saturn and Moon are together, so this shows that he suffers emotionally, you know, though he is strong emotionally, but he suffers, you know, because whenever, and it also creates Saturn and Moon together, also creates Sannyas Yoga. So, you know, this is what is doing for him, you know, like there are 2-3 things in his chart which are suggesting that the love relationships and marriage all are going to be, you know, difficult for him. So, and his moon is in Dhanishta Nakshatra. Now the Dhanishta Nakshatra is the nakshatra of someone very rich. It is a rare nakshatra. Not many people have it. You know, in moon in Dhanishta is very rare. And this is what makes a person not only very rich, very dani, you know, like who donates a lot. Someone who take care of poor and helpless. Someone, and Saturn is Saturn is in Satabisha. Satabisha is the nakshatra of Rahu, but it's also nakshatra of healer, you know. So he is trying to heal poor and helpless, you know, providing medical care for them. And also Dhanishta people also have issues in their married life, you know, or they have problem in their love relationships. So marriage all get difficult. So this is what. And Saturn in 11th in Aquarius is it's like really powerful, you know, like these two things are making him what he is, rich and successful and powerful. So more than that, I think I shouldn't say, or he will sue me, you know. But if we notice one thing, since 2016 January, Ketu is transiting in his 11th house, you know. So mother's health must be, you know, reason of anxiety for him. And also it is throwing its 5th aspect on retrograde Jupiter, you know, in 3rd house of communication. So since then we are hearing lot of issues, you know, like going on in his life regarding to what he says, you know. He will always have problem with the journalists, media people, you know, because of these issues. And this will create lot of problem for him. And then it is throwing, I think it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, you know, like, the father is speaking on his behalf. So this is happening because of this Ketu's transit. Now if we see the transiting Saturn has come in Sagittarius, and it is aspecting the 3rd house Jupiter. Jupiter is in Mrigashira. his court case is going on in which he killed, I think, black buck, it's this rare species of deer, Mrigashira is about deer head, so that court case have started, and it is, the Saturn will be in Sagittarius for 2.5 years, and he's going to get lot of trouble with media people if he won't take care of what he is saying, how he's dealing with them. But he's going to be troubled a lot because of this court case. Though most of the time he is such a good human being, and he does so much of charities that I don't think any problem can, last for him for long. He will come out of it for sure. But this phase, 2.5 years phase, probably he will go through maximum trouble because of this case. So hopefully, he should deal with it properly and sort it out for himself, because the poor and helpless in India needs him. So basically, this is what Mr. Salman Khan's chart is. I hope you like this video. If you like, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if possible. Take care. God bless you. Bye-bye.